This is the Gemini table. I'm Cameron Kramer. This week in world news, the city of Medea in Syria has been under siege and blocked from the outside world by Syrian regime forces and their allies. They stopped receiving food, water, medicine, and clothing. But all that changed last week when 65 truckloads of life-saving goods were delivered to the suffering city. The city has been on its own since October when the United Nations could no longer provide support. In total, 15 people have died, 12 of which were children. Starving kids came to get food, saying that they hadn't had a full meal in a week. Things will improve now that 40,000 people will be provided with food that will last for over a month. Medicine will save the lives of many ill people. Before the aid trucks arrive, doctors say that all they have to give their dying patients are salt water and sugar. Let's hope the situation is better now that aid has been delivered. Up next is Russell with National News.
Recently, on the Customs and Border Control protection, a drug trade has been busted. Not any ordinary drug trade like on cars or anything. We're talking about something that's next-gen science. A drone that U.S. Border Control agents say had 31 pounds of marijuana, and it dropped it in a desert. The estimated value of the marijuana is $15,430. Thanks to night vision goggles, the agents were able to shoot the drone down and stop the trade. This was announced Tuesday. This actually happened on November 16th, and it's known as the first drone drug inclusion. And will there be any more? How is this happening? Well, not too long ago, there's actually a drug cartel hack on the U.S. drones and security. So this may be a possible sequel to those events. Let's hope that no drugs enter the U.S. Now, on to state news.
Thank you, Russell. This week in Bloomington, police arrested a man named Charles Timothy Beeson for having $12,000 worth of heroin in his apartment. Mr. Beeson had bought heroin in Indianapolis to sell back at his apartment in Bloomington. Detectives had gone into the house of Mr. Beeson and found a scale on the top shelf with small baggies that contained powder-like substances claimed to be heroin under the sink. The police were able to find and bust Mr. Beeson through undercover buys and surveillance around Mr. Beeson's apartment lasting 2 months. The 26-year-old Mr. Beeson was put behind bars yesterday, Thursday, January 14, 2016. His bond is set at $60,000 and is on hold for probation. Up next, we have Brian with Science and Tech News.
Thank you, Russell. This is Up Next, differences in stress between females and males. Muscles tighten, the heart pounds, and nausea takes hold. In the face of sudden stress, men and women respond the same, but when threats, scares, or frustrations continue for days or months, difference between the sexes unfold. Scientists have known that women are more commonly known to suffer more with depression or post-traumatic stress or other disorders. But since now, scientists are now turning to focus more on the men and why they don't stress like the women do. Recent findings in the annual meetings of the Society of Neuroscience held in Chicago in October show a common stress hormone triggers different responses in specific brain cells of male and female animals. The differences was that the females are less able than males to adopt chronic stress. A heightened stress response may bring an evolutionary advantage, and an enhanced response to stress hormones could help females.
Yesterday on the 14th, old plastic bags in Michigan got a new life in providing warmth to homeless locals. The National Honor Society students at Three Rivers Community Schools are reusing plastic bags to help the homeless. Rather than going to landfills or floating around on the streets, they'll be made into blankets for the less fortunate. Their goal is to make a mile of blankets. Each blanket is 6 feet by 4 feet big. It takes about 500 to 700 plastic grocery bags to make one blanket, but it provides layers of insulation. The National Honor Society's goal is to make 880 blankets, which will take about 616,000 plastic bags. Students are seeking pledges of $200 per blanket with a fundraising goal of $176,000. So, the next time you look at a plastic grocery bag, think about how they could help the homeless people survive in the cold. This has been Team Canaveral Student News, Gemini Table.